now they fall under the umbrella of Northeast Freightways as a company. So it's Northeast Freightways Companies, and there are 4 divisions under it. The 2 DHL operations, one in New England, one in New York, called New York Express. DHL New Hampshire is the other one. And then there's Land Air Express. And then there's the newly born PDS. PDS was born only in February of this year, but it was born to facilitate the truckload needs of the original Northeast Freightways that I started building. So back up 2016 again. Once we took over Land Air, they had a truckload division. So the idea was, well, why don't we put the 2 truckload divisions together, and let's see how that works. And it worked, but I knew there was just more that we could have there. The business wasn't growing the way I wanted it to. So I decided the end of last year that we were going to take the truckload division away from Land Air, and we were going to start building this new company, which turns out to be PDS. So at that point, we had a company that was doing maybe $2 million in revenue a year coming out of the blocks. And then I heard that Coca-Cola Bottling of Northern New England had bought some other facilities because they have territories for Coke. Okay, so obviously the name Coca-Cola Bottling of Northern New England tells you they were Northern New England, and that's where they started. But what they did is they took on other territory for Massachusetts, Connecticut, basically all of New England then, and upstate New York, all the way out to Buffalo. So now there's bottling facilities that we service in Massachusetts and in Connecticut, as well as bringing some raw materials back from New York. So we have loads from Coke going out to Buffalo, whether it's from Londonderry or Mass or Connecticut or where have you. We drive down into eastern Pennsylvania now with loads. But this growth was significant in it will drive us from being that $2 million a year company to being close to a $10 million a year company.
Wow. Congratulations.
So great,
Yeah, so it's been quite a ride.
Can I have a raise?
I just gave you one.
Oh, can I have another one on
Remember
top
in
of that?
2004?
Cost of living, baby.
If you were just listening, you were listening to Common Sense New Hampshire. We're live at the offices here at PDS here in Hooksett, New Hampshire. Our phone number is 603-217-5400. If you have a question for our sponsor, the man here, Phil, please call in, and you can also message us through our social media programs as well. So congratulations. It's been exponentially. What's in the future? What's coming up now?
Well, I've kind of got a 5-year plan, and that 5-year plan is to drive us up near $50 million.
Oh, my Lord.
I've got some focus on some other big dedicated customers that we'll leave unnamed at this point, but maybe next year we'll be talking about it in the show.
Great.
We just made a huge capital investment with new equipment, state-of-the-art equipment. I remember driving trailers back in the early 2000s when they were real trucks. You could feel what they were doing. You had to shift them. You had to actually shift them.
Quite a few times, if I'm not mistaken.
Nowadays, you push a button.
Wow.
And you hit the gas pedal.
Wow.
That's why Mike likes his job.
Push of a
I
button.
don't like my job.
Yeah, less effort.
I love my job.
Yeah, so it's a different world out there in the trucking industry where it's almost a specialty field now.
Wow.
There's a lot of people that have been in the industry a long time that have grown to like the standard gears of a typical truck. But I got to tell you, drove my first automatic only 3-4 weeks ago.
Wow.
And I wouldn't go back to a standard now after driving it.
That's awesome.
Amen, brother.
Wow. When we wrap up the show, Phil, we were talking about doing on our Common Sense NH Facebook page, doing a Facebook Live and checking out some of the new trucks. So would you like to be a part of that?
Sure.
Okay, great. That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
So
I mean, you bought them, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, exactly.
That'd be great.
So, obviously, with everything, in any industry, things change technology-wise, manufacturing-wise, and everything. What do you think is the one biggest difference that makes you a better company than the rest, would you say?
Donald Trump.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think we finally got a president in there that, and I don't want to make this a political stage by any.
No, this is your opinion.
But I think Donald Trump has done such an amazing job with the economy that this particular industry is thriving because it's really a food chain, if you will. You know, when the retail stores start selling, okay, everything else starts moving.
Right.
You know, whether it's the automobile dealers selling or what have you, retail sales go up, all the raw materials go up, and right now there are bigger trucking companies, nationwide trucking companies that are 140% capacity.
Wow.
140% capacity.
In just over a year. I mean,
just over a year.
Wow.
Yep, and I think next year is even going to be bigger than this year.
Right.
We got to get through this year without the wheels coming off the cart, if you will.
Sure.
But we're looking forward to the ride. There's a lot of business out there that we can grab, but we have to make sure we grow smart because we don't want to be a statistic.
I have two questions. First question, are we biting off more than we can chew?
Absolutely not.
And with these new acquires, how are we recruiting drivers nowadays? Because everybody out there, it's like, come work for us, we'll pay you this, we'll pay you that. Here's a sign-on bonus. I mean, what is it that we are getting these people through the door to
I
work
think
for us?
part of it is we still have that small company attitude, and we treat new employees and current employees like a person.
Which is very unusual.
And the employees that work for us seem to be pretty darn happy here. So a lot of our referrals come from other employees. Just as an example, we started running an ad a couple months ago to try to recruit drivers for this new business. And it seems like every person we recruit, they then recruit somebody.
Wow. That's a
so
good
That's
sign.
the best advertisement,
Yeah,
word of
that's
mouth
a
right
great
there.
amen. It
Yeah.
always
And
has been and always will be.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely, and it's blown my mind because I don't even know some of these people, and they start talking to people internally. They start talking to Taylor Lovely, who's running the trucking division, and they like us,
Right.
You know, and
Because they're happy. They're
people want to be
exuding
treated.
that to other people. You know what I mean? They're
Truck drivers have feelings too, you know.
no. They do they really?
Well, what's
You shut your mouth, boy.
what's nice about this is when you're building up an employee base like this, because we obviously from the entertainment side, we rather have people that are referring other people that you can trust, and that's where the foundation comes from, and I think that's what your vision is.
It's like
coming as
reverse.
well.
It's like reverse attrition. You know what I mean?
True.
It's like it's exactly what you would want. You know what I mean? It's the opposite of losing people because they're not happy. You actually have people recruiting other people because they're happy.
You're
I mean,
absolutely right.
that's pretty powerful. You know,
How many
it's a
employees?
good sign.
How many employees in your company?
Between all the companies combined, I think there's 573.
Whoa.
I remember there was just two of us. What happened?
Then 2 became 3.
Yeah, really.
We
really.
made babies. I love this.
Yep. Michael, I affectionately know him as Pickle.
Oh, we know.
All right, so where did that nickname come from? I want to hear it from
I
your
was
perspective.
waiting for somebody to ask.
Thank you. I want to hear it. Where did that come
There's
from?
two
So-
sides of the story.
I want to hear it.
Phil can go
no,
first.
No. I want it from Phil's perspective.
Phil
I
can
want
go
it.
first.
Nobody
I
cares
want it
about
from
your
his
side.
side.
So anyway, Pickle used to drive for me, Mike, at Lander Express way back in the 90s. And I remember the day I met him. He was driving for an over-the-road company, a nationwide company, and he pulled into the yard in their truck, and he walks in, and he's like, "You guys looking for help?" And I'm like, "I certainly am." And we just kind of hit it off from day one. For whatever reason, I kind of like the guy. I don't know why, but
We're all sort of wondering the same
we,
thing.
we
yeah.
Stop
I-
looking at my tits when you say that.
I can say on the air, legitimately, Pickle does have one friend.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, I'm always here about it.
So anyway, Pickle came into my life at that period. Geez, I want to say it was 1996, 7,
I think it was
5.
five. Yeah.
And we've just kind of stuck it out together since. When I left Landair to start my own thing, Pickle was the first employee I had. So we started growing this company together. So he's employee 00001.
Interesting.
Wow.
So
And now I have truck number 365599. How many? I've gone through how many trucks now? Holy crap!
Pickle always got a new truck. Anytime we got new trucks, he'd get a new one. Jeez, I don't even remember.
Remember, I
We-
think
we
the
had the
first one was
rental.
108. I think
Well,
108.
we had the rental first, right?
Yeah.
And then we had 108.
Did our Home Depot. We forgot about Home Depot.
But that was a rental truck, wasn't it?
No, well, rental, then it turned into...
Was that 107, the International?
I don't remember. No, 107 was the Cube truck, wasn't it?
No,
or was
it's
that 103?
103. Come on.
It's 103, sorry.
Don't disrespect me. It's still sitting here.
But I'm still trying to get the acquirement. Where did pickle come from?
Oh,
Why-
yeah, I'm
why
sorry.
pickle?
I got off on a
That's all right.
tangent.
No.
So anyway,
I'm loving the side stories. Please continue.
I kind of forgot the question.
That happens a lot on this show.
So anyway, Pickle used to go out on the road, and he used to always stop in rest areas, and he used to tell me
Jesus, fuck.
he used to tell me the stories about at these rest areas that these hookers would go around and they'd bang on doors of trucks at night, and the guys, whoever the drivers were, because they're full of trucks. And the guys would open their door, invite them in, and whatever happened there, I don't know, roasting marshmallows or
Sure.
what have you.
Yeah.
And so he used to call it the Pickle Park.
Nice.
So anytime Michael was kind of slow in getting something done, I'd say, what, were you at the Pickle Park? So he kind of acquired the name Pickle.
Pickle, naturally.
And you know what? It was like one spitball, and it stuck to the wall. Because I think there are more people that know him as Pickle now
Right.
than there are that know him as Michael.
Yeah, I'll be walking down the street and somebody yell out pickle. I'll oh, shit.
Do I turn around?
Right, yeah.
What did I do now?
They're probably talking to another pickle. Yeah.
Is that story accurate from your perspective?
Yeah, that is the correct story. I always say, why do they call you pickle? I go, because I used to be in porn. And
This is the wishful story.
yeah.
But I used to always go in to Phil's office, and I'd always call him Pickle Juice. Hey, what's up, Pickle Juice?
I never understood that.
Yeah, it's it worked. Worked for me, man. But
Well, I can see the metaphor. You're the juice, and then you're holding the pickles of the world for. Never mind. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
goddamn rest
we'd
area.
like to hear your opinion on this whole Pickle thing.
Did you want to chime in on that?
Yeah.
All right, so Mike's at the pickle park.
Phil's
That
there.
sounded,
Phil's got
so
the
wrong in
pickle
many ways.
juice.
Right.
We were never completed.
You had me at a hello.
So that's where the name Pickle came from.
Gotcha. Did you ever get your pickle tickled at any of the pickle parks?
No, my doors were click. That was it, man. And I never really stayed in rest areas. It was always truck stops and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Rest areas is people always coming in and out. Ooh, I said that wrong.
Yeah, there are.
But back then, you weren't doing many overnighters. I mean, it was always like early morning runs, back same day. So,
Well, there was that-
just
was
kinda-
that-
to me, it was like a myth. This Pickle Park place.
There was a time in history that you'd be like, all right, you're done with that load, go to the next one. And I'd be like, can I go to bed now? He's like, no, you'll get a 2-hour nap when you get there getting loaded. Then go here. And then you're going to have to turn around and come back because we need that freight. And I'm like, I'm going to die.
You guys have to keep sleep logs, right?
Well, now.
Well, when you're depending on-
Back then, you could be cowboys.
Yeah.
The laws have changed, and they've changed for the better.
Of course, sure. Of course.
The industry is
safer.
a much better industry. It's
Yeah.
a safer industry. It's actually gotten rid of a lot of the cowboy companies, if you will,
Right.
that do whatever they want to make a few dimes.
Right.
Nice.
So really, the companies that are out there that you see on the highways now are legitimate, hardworking companies,
Right.
run by the rules of the DOT, which are, frankly, I respect the rules of the DOT
Sure.
because I think that it makes our highways and byways much safer.
Yeah,
for
they're
the
there for good
public.
reason. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
So
This
pickle.
is fun.
So pickle gets the loads, huh?
Pickle. good.
So to speak.
Here come the fat jokes and the pickle jokes. All right. If you
Well,
have
they've-
any questions, folks, call
they've
us on the
only just
hotline.
begun, yeah.
Email all the bullshit.
603 217 5400. And again, you can tweet us, and you can also find us on Facebook, Common Sense New Hampshire. This was a great segment. I learned a
Totally.
lot. I have all my answers, all my questions answered. Craig, Aaron, are we missing anything?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to that
I
Facebook
get a
Live.
hand. I get a hand on this piece of paper
You guys
when we go to
are,
commercial.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, be sure to check out our Facebook page after the show because it's not every day you get to get a hands-on view of a brand spanking new